The night has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's start this conversation. Let's start this conversation. We got no relation.
Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of Native storytelling, where the old stories breathe, the unknown walks among us, and voices, long hidden, rise to be heard. And remember, don't whistle at night.
Hey everybody, good evening and welcome to Into the Night with your host here, me, Sean Kelly. Want to thank you, PRN Talk Radio 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans. Don't forget, hey Kevin, hey Batgirl, good to see you. Oh, always a pleasure to see you too. And everybody else out there in the 160 different countries that are listening to the show tonight. Don't forget that C.L. Thomas, her podcast, my dear friend, the Gateway Podcast, her show comes on right after mine. And hopefully she'll pop on, in the chat, and I'll ask her who her guest is. But after my show, please go over and give CL some love. I got a little bit of a cold going on here, which kind of sucks. 2 days, it's in the 80s and 90s, and then drops down into the 60s. And I'm just, I don't know. Just a little bit under the weather tonight. But before I get into my show, I have a little editorial. Has nothing to do with ghost hunting. Has nothing to do with the paranormal. Hey, Cindy Mates, good to see you. It has to do with the bunch of dumbasses. Sorry to hear that, Kev. I'm going to talk about a bunch of dumbasses that were caught, thank goodness, from the FBI. And they all had a plan to launch drones. These are Americans now. To launch drones at President Trump's UFC badge. Hey guys. And after they would have launched the drones, hey Violet, and after they launched the drones and all the people scattering, these 12 numbskulls, assholes, I'm going to call them assholes, had a lot of ammunition with guns, and they were going to pew pew them. I'm not feeling good today, guy. And it's just, why in the hell would you dumbasses want to do something like that? What's it got to prove? What's it prove? That you're a man? That you're getting 15 minutes of fame? Just because you don't like a person does not mean, okay, does not mean that you can unalive many others. And the sad part about this all is that they were Americans firing upon Americans. For what? Hi, D. We're doing good. Fire upon Americans. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't. How people can do that just because you don't like a person. Now, they did arrest 5 of them, and how the FBI got them, and how they got him was one of the dudes, he was like right out of high school. And his mother saw something that he wrote on the computer. And when she read it, she contacted the police department. So it's like, okay, she turned her own son in. And that's what brought down the hammer. Who were they shooting at? The drones or the people? They were going to shoot the drones at the people when they were running out. Yeah, it's a bunch of craziness, Kevin. And I just thank God for that mom for turning her son in, because that would have been one big catastrophe. Now, I don't know the whole story. I can't tell you what was in their minds at the time they were plotting this. I can't tell you that because I don't know. All I could tell you is what I heard on the news. And it's not just on, all the news, online news. It's in the big news everywhere. It's just a shame that we have to go and deal with this kind of crap. It just goes to prove we are not safe nowhere. We are in the most, to me, and this is my opinion, we are in the most safest country out there. And we got to worry about our own to launch an attack on innocent people because you don't like one person. And you know what's really sad about this all? All 12 of the people, they were ex-military. I can't wrap my head around it. You have to be some sick assholes to do something like that. Really sick assholes. Excuse my language again. But I wanted to bring that up as an editorial. You know for a fact I don't like talking politics or nothing like that. I don't. But I thought this should be aware to all. I don't know, Kevin. I don't know. I can't answer that. But I just want everybody to know how sick and delusional people are. you know, because of other people saying other things. It's not right. So, like you all know, and I say it all the time. Hey, Joni, like I say it all the time, karma is a bitch. But still, how can you phantom, you know, unaliving all those people because you don't like a man? Nah, just especially with drones. Yeah, it does snowball, brother. It's like that one game, Kevin. It's like that one game where you tell one person the secret and they go around and tell another person, another person, another person. And then they come back and tell something different. Yeah. And the sad thing about it, too, Kevin, is that they listen to these people. That is what's sad. But that's the end of the editorial. Now we're getting on to some good stuff that I like to talk about. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the telephone game. Thank you, buddy. So I'm going to Gettysburg next Monday. I'm going to be up there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, come home Thursday. And I'm going to get my feet wet again, and I'm going to go and I'm going to investigate. And I do have some friends up there that will go with me. And I'm looking forward to it. I'll be able to go to the places that I investigated a long time ago. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. In fact, I know it's going to be a lot of fun. So, you know, I was thinking, well, what can I have for a topic tonight? And it just popped on me. It just says ghost stories of the Civil War. And of course, I will tell you that my brain, being old, lost a lot of memory in it. So I could not tell you, you know, the stories without looking anything up. So that's why I got my AI phone, you know, my phone, which brought up AI, and I will be reading from it because some of this I would have never done. Maybe I would have known about 20 years ago, yes, but you know, as you get older, your brain goes. You know what I mean? But so we're going to do. I'm going to read some ghost, you know, different ghost stories or ghost happenings at two battlefields tonight. And the first one I'm going to talk about or read about too is it's the ghost stories of Antietam Battlefield. Antietam National Battlefield in Sharpsburg, Maryland. I've been to this place, okay? And trust me, it is freaking haunted. I've never been there at night, but I've been there during the day. And there's a place called the Sunken Road, in which I'll read what they have in here. Hey, Robbie, good to see you, brother. And see, me and Robert, we grew up together, like my best friend. And we got into a lot of trouble. That was a lot of fun. And it's nice to see that he comes in and he listens to the show. So, the Antietam National Battlefield. Yes. Antietam National Battlefield in Sharpsburg, Maryland is the site of the bloodiest single-day battle in American history. It is considered one of the most haunted locations in the United States. The overwhelming loss of over 23,000 casualties has left a rich folklore of spectral soldiers, phantom cannon fire, and lingering spirits. The battlefield's paranormal activity is heavily concentrated around specific landmarks in the former field hospitals where the tragedy of war left an indelible mark. Bloody Lane. It's called the Sunken Road. And if you want to read more about Antietam and Bloody Lane, just Google Sunken Road, Antietam battlefield. They'll give you the history. The Sunken Road hosted, Joni says, hey, Sean, I was watching the Travel Channel today and I was watching a Haunted Files program and your boss, Heidi, was in one of the shows, Ghost Hunting. Oh, really? My boss, Heidi? Heidi's my boss. Oh, she's my friend. Oh, I did not know that. Interesting. Was it Heidi or was it Michelle? Might have been Michelle. I don't know. I'll have to talk to Heidi about it. But the Sunken Road hosted some of the most gruesome combat of the day. Witnesses reported sudden, heavy smell of gunpowder, the sounds of distant combat, and apparition of soldiers walking the lane before vanishing. Now, a little bit about the Sunken Road. It is sunken, okay? It is sunken, and it was the best defense for the Confederate soldiers, okay? And so what happened was the way the Union Army was coming in, they were coming up upon this sunken road. And they were just like sitting ducks. Okay, they were sitting ducks. And a lot of, hey, Buck Brown, good to see you. Hey, Buck, missed you today at work. I know you were off. But they were marching. The Union soldiers were marching, and these Confederates were, in this sunken road, and they were picking off all the people. Now that you said Michelle, probably was her. Okay. Hello, Sean. Just got home. Yay, in time. Hey, Heidi. Joni, who's a very dear friend of mine, saw you, my boss. You're my boss. Investigating. But it was Michelle, not you. But I didn't know you were my boss, Heidi. You telling people you're my boss? What's up with that? Just joking. But what happened was all these Union brigades just walked, and the Confederates were just mowing them down with rifle and cannon fire. And it was bloody. It was really, really bloody. Hey, Mitch. And so eventually what happened, the Union Army actually flanked the Confederates in the sunken road. And it was like shooting fish in a barrel, And when I went down there, but as they flanked it, like I said, they were shooting fish in a barrel. And that's why it is really, really haunted, the sunken road. Okay. It's sad. Antietam was sad, but there was a lot of casualties there, just at that one area. The Irish Brigade chant. Okay. Now, that's my brigade, buddy. Everybody. The Irish Brigade was the 66th, 69th New York, and the 72nd Pennsylvania. And they were like hardcore soldiers. But near the observation tower, school children and visitors have reported hearing an eerie melodic chanting that sounds like a Christmas carol, like Deck the Halls. Historians believe it was the echo of the Union's Irish Brigade chanting their Gaelic battle cry as they charged Confederate lines. Now, see, the Fighting Irish, and there's a nice little story behind that. Well, it's not a good story, but it brings history. Now, in Gettysburg, the Irish Brigade got their asses kicked. A lot of guys died, right? And and I forget who the colonel was, but he made a wrong move, and a lot of our Irish boys got killed. But here's the thing about the Irish Brigade. Now, this is that Civil War. There was a priest that followed them everywhere. And whenever they went into battle, he would give them last rites. So, I forget the father's name. I always forget his name. But at the Battle of Gettysburg, okay, July 2nd, 1863, the Irish were going into the peach orchard, and they were also going into the wheat field. And it was a slaughterhouse for the brigade. They got decimated pretty bad. But before they went in, the priest gave them all absolution. So long story short, okay, so after the war, this priest, he became the chancellor at Notre Dame. Now, everybody knows that, Notre Dame, they are considered the Fighting Irish. Well, this priest got there, and Notre Dame didn't have a mascot. And he came up with one, the Fighting Irish. And that's how the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, the thing for Notre Dame University, got their name. It was after that father gave absolution to the brigade, the Irish Brigade at Gettysburg. And that's how they got the Fighting Irish. Sometimes when I think about them, okay, now that was back in the 1863. 99 years later, I was born. And I still feel a little bit about it. It brings a tear to my eye, and I'm not afraid to say that. And it's not so much the Irish Brigade, it's all the soldiers that got killed, all the civilians. Not too many to fight that were in this war. It makes the Civil War, all these battles, interesting why they were fighting. They also claim that the war was about free the slaves. It wasn't. It's about each state in the South having their own rights. To put it simply to you, okay, if the Confederate States won, we would need a passport to go to North Carolina. We would need a passport to go to Georgia, Mississippi, New Orleans. We would probably need a passport. And whatever state that you came in, they had their own rights. They would have their own laws. So it really wasn't so much about the slaves. It was more about the different states having rights. Plus, also, money was involved with that. There's so much. Kevin says, all war is so pointless, isn't it? Yes. Sad indeed, all trying to control. True. You know, and I mean, look what happened to Lincoln, man. He got assassinated at a theater. And because I forget, proclamation, something, little speech, freeing the slaves or something like that. I don't know. Right now my mind's a little. Oh, of course, Johnny, money is always involved in war. Definitely. So that's the whole deal behind the Civil War through my eyes and through my brain. We have army, we need wars, otherwise we won't fund them. That is true. So true, Mish. So another area down there in which I have been to is called the Burnside Bridge. He was a general, and he screwed that all up. Instead of going another way, he wanted to cross the bridge. Well, all the sharpshooters were from Georgia, were up in the hills. And yes, they were Irish. They were Irish. And a lot of men got stuck on this bridge, and they were sitting ducks. And I went there not at night, but like around 5, 6 in the evening, and I could actually hear the screaming, the wails, the cries, but nobody was around. You're not allowed to be in the park on that battlefield after dark. So you really can't, really do an investigation there. But I heard the wail, the crying, and I actually smelled gunpowder at the Burnside Bridge. And that's not the first time I ever smelled gunfire. I have a story to tell you when we get to the Gettysburg one. Residual energy left over echoes. Yeah. But formerly Roebuck Bridge, countless soldiers are buried in unmarked graves here. Visitors at night have reported glowing blue orbs moving to the cadence of a distant drum. I haven't seen those blue orbs. I haven't. But, maybe I'll check it out when I go down there this time around, because I do plan on going into Antietam. Then you had St. Paul's Episcopal Church, used as a Confederate hospital during and after the battle. This Sharpsburg site is famously haunted. People report hearing the anguished screams of the wounded and dying coming from an empty building, as well as gaunt, transparent faces appearing in windows. The Pry and Piper houses. These structures served as makeshift field hospitals. Guest and park interpreters have recounted disembodied footsteps on staircases and lingering apparition of a woman in period clothing, often thought to be a general's wife. Because of the landscape hasn't changed drastically over the years, the area remains an epicenter for dark and bucolic energies that may paranormal enthusiasts seek out. Okay, so that was about Antietam. I overwent the bottom of the hour, so we're going to take a little break here, and then we'll get to the ghost stories up in Gettysburg. I have a couple to share with you up there. Okay, so we'll be back, not in 2 minutes, maybe less. So go have a cigarette, do what you got to do, go to the bathroom, have coffee. But I will see you in a couple minutes. There, we can play this one.
Hi, and welcome everyone to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. Today we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans.
Hey, welcome back everybody to the second part of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. I want to thank UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans for allowing me to give you 2 shows a week. Sunday nights, 8:10 to 10:10 p.m. and on Tuesday nights, 8:10 to 9:10. Don't forget, C.L. Thomas's podcast is coming right on after mine, 9:15 Eastern. And go over and give her some love. Go over and tell her I said hello, Yeah, give her support. She needs a lot of support over there. Just like we all need support. Thank you, Heidi. I appreciate it. Now, since we talked about the Antietam ghost stories, we're going to, about an hour and 20 minutes up north, on Route 15 comes the Battle of Gettysburg. And on July, the most famous ghost story from Gettysburg is that of Jenny Wade, the only civilian killed during the 3-day battle. And I mean, it's a good read if you can find the book or you can find the story of Jenny Wade. It's tragic, yes, but it's an interesting read. On July 3rd, 1863, 20-year-old Jenny, often referred to as Jenny Wade, was baking bread for Union soldiers in her sister's kitchen on Baltimore Street when a stray bullet passed through 2 doors and killed her instantly. What's really cool about the Jenny Wade house is, it's not cool, but it's a nice feature that outside the house, they actually have the bullet holes from the Civil War that are into the brick. It's fascinating. If you ever go to Gettysburg, you need to go to the Jenny Wade house. I did a couple tours there. I went on a couple tours at the Jenny Wade house, and it is fascinating. And I'm telling you what, it is definitely haunted. We were down in the cellar, and it's on a chain. It's chained off, so you can't go, into the place where she died, or where they laid her out. And I was down there one night with a bunch of other people, and all of a sudden, now there's no wind going on. It's hotter than hell outside, and all of a sudden, the chain started to move back and forth. The chain started to sway back and forth. At the time, I was with my ex-girlfriend, and she video camered it. I don't know where that film is at, but it was pretty interesting. And it just wasn't a light, back and forth. It was rugged. We smelled baking bread. Yes, we smelled the bread being baked, hot bread. It was a very, very interesting tour. I did get the chance a couple years later to go investigate the house by myself, well, with another person who was the tour guide, and it's creepy. It's creepy as hell, but it was fun, and I got a lot of good personal experiences. Like I keep telling you people that the best evidence is personal experiences on an investigation. The visitors to the Jenny Wade house often report hearing strange noises, smelling fresh baked bread, and feeling a presence. Some even claim to see her ghost. I never saw her ghost, never. Some even claim to see her ghost, often lingering because she was separated from her fiance, who also died, or because her grave was moved. What they actually did up there was they wanted to build a hotel. It's not affiliated with my show or not. It's called the 1861 Hotel. And what they did was they actually moved the whole house up 100 yards so they could put the hotel in there. But it's a really interesting place. A lot of good hauntings, a lot of good evidence, a lot of good paranormal activity that goes on at the Jenny Wade house. Like I said, you want to look it up, it's a good read. It's an interesting story. There's another place called the Barefoot Soldier of Devil's Den. Now, Devil's Den was like, I would have to say, in the middle of the battlefield. It was a bunch of rocks, big boulders, okay? And the Confederates would be all through those boulders, okay? The sharpshooters were, and they were picking off the soldiers from Little Round Top, the Union soldiers. And it's a ragged barefoot soldier in a floppy hat is frequently seen in the Devil's Den area, often pointing visitors toward the first Texas positions before vanishing. Now, I never saw the soldier, never did. But again, I smelled the gunpowder around there. There's a little creek that runs through, and I want to say that they call it Bloody Lane because a lot of people died around this creek that runs through it. And you got the Phantom Regiment. Reports persist of a Phantom Regiment of Confederate soldiers marching through the battlefield at night. I think I saw that. Okay, I think I saw them marching. There's like 4 or 6 of them that march, and that is called a residual haunting. There's a lot of residual hauntings that happen up in Gettysburg. I know this one place. It's at that hotel where the 1861 on the 5th floor. There is a soldier that walks the top floor on the outside, and you'll be standing out there having a cigarette or whatever, and you'll see this soldier coming right at you, and he doesn't see you there. He walks right through you. And constantly, like every 10, 15 minutes, he just constantly walks outside the hallway, or not the hallway, but outside of the rooms. And he does it like every 15 minutes, and he'll walk right through you. And he doesn't even know you're there. He's like, it's called, like I said, residual haunting, where he is stuck in 1863 during the battle up there. Now, outside this hotel, there's a lane that walks up towards, if you go down, it takes you to Gettysburg High School's football stadium, okay? Or up or down, whatever. But if you're on your, coming out of your room on the 5th floor at night, you can actually see, and I'll be witness, God is my witness, okay? I have actually seen soldiers walk up that path. Oh, they really do echo, you know. And whenever I first experienced my first residual, it was crazy, man. I just turned around this thing, and it wasn't at Gettysburg, it was at somewhere else. And the sucker walked right through me. Boy, did I get cold. Boy, did I have the shivers. Yes. But you got to realize, though, when you go there, or if you go to any Civil War town where there was a battle, all over the place they have so many ghosts. So many. What I like to do when it's like really hot and you go up there, I like to go into town, the town of Gettysburg, and just sit on a bench like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It's real quiet. No drunks, no driving, nothing like that. Every now and then you got a truck headed your way, but it's quiet. And you can actually hear them moving in the streets. You can actually smell the gunpowder. And every now and then, you get a faint smell. I mean, a faint cry. But it's really active there. And it's just, believe it or not, it's magical. If you want to look at it like that, that's the only word I could actually come up with. That is definitely magical to be down in the town of Gettysburg at 2 in the morning, or just walk the streets of Gettysburg. Now they do have this one place. I think it's called GC Ice Cream up there. And right across the street, there's a bench, like a bus stop or whatever, I don't know. But I remember going on the very first tour, and we stopped there, and they said, well, you can actually smell the tobacco pipe of a spirit there. And I didn't smell anything like that. So 3 or 4 years later, I went up there, and I decided, what the hell, why don't I just sit on this bench? Sure enough, I smelt the pipe smoke. Yes, absolutely. And blew me away. I got chills. I got chills that night when I smelt that smoke. So there's a lot of places up there that you can go to, right, that are haunted anywhere up there. It don't have to be at a specific place or time or whatever. You can even hear it in the daytime. Thank you, Kevin. But this last one I want to talk about, okay? And this is the creepy one. Now, up there in Gettysburg, they have the Gettysburg College. Okay, it's called Gettysburg College. And in that college, they got the elevator. There's an elevator. And I'm going to read a little bit about it. A popular tale involves 2 administrators taking the elevator in Pennsylvania Hall. It was used as a hospital during the battle, and it was. And having the doors open to a scene of wounded soldiers and doctors from 1863. Can you imagine being one of them administrators going down, an elevator and open up, and you see the doctors and the people that were the soldiers that were wounded? And you know what? I believe that one. I believe that actually happened. Because whenever you walk through Pennsylvania Hall, right, or anywhere, if you walk around the Pennsylvania College, Gettysburg College, it is like, I mean, the energy is so intense, during the daytime, at nighttime, whatever. No wonder the kids up there go crazy at night because of all the energy. But that place, the Gettysburg College, is extremely haunted. And I've talked to a lot of students when I would walk up there, go there, and they would tell me their stories of all the stuff that has happened to them that they witnessed. And it's just amazing to go up and hear it from college kids. You know what I mean? From college kids. But what I'm going to do is when I'm up there next week, you seen it on the Travel Channel? That's cool. But I really believe that that really seriously happened. I have no doubt in my mind. And then they have one called the Blue Boy. There's a lot of them up there. But I just picked these up. You know, I remember when I went on the tour for it. But when I go to Gettysburg, okay, when I do go up there next week, I'm going to take a lot of pictures. All right. And I'm not going to see if I get any ghosts or nothing like that. I'm going to just shoot what I shoot. And if I know how to do it, I will put them on the following Sunday for you all to see. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really hoping that I can catch something for you guys or tell you my experience on what's happening when I was up there. It is pretty close to the witching hour, and so I'm going to pull a card, just one card tonight, okay? The reason is that 2 or 3 nights in a row, 3 Tuesdays in a row, I pulled long reading cards, like 4 or 5. But tonight, you know what? I'm just going to pour one. And remember, like I said at the beginning, whenever I pull an animal spirit card, it's basically a card to help you guide your way through your week through here. Next Tuesday, I will not have a show. It will be a rerun, okay, because I'll be out investigating ghosts and eating and getting fat is what I'm going to be doing. That's what I'm going to be doing. I want to appreciate everybody for coming in tonight and watching the show. Thank you, Johnny. And I love the card insight. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Kevin. I just feel it's part of the show now, pulling the card, you know. So we'll see where it gets you. Everybody, if you can't remember, you know, you can always write down this animal, and you can look up the, you know, your own, the metaphysical or the spiritual reason behind the card. When I pull the card, okay, it's what I see. You know, it's not the definition of the card itself. It's what I see. She says, oh my, I could hear you, but couldn't find my phone. Heidi, she said, I could hear you, but I couldn't find my phone. Oh, wow, that's terrible. That's weird. That's wild. Did you find it, though? I hope so. But here, I just shuffled the deck. Okay, everybody? I just cut the cards. And I'm going to pull it out. Check it out, ladies and gents. It is the wolf. It is the wolf. And everybody knows I love the wolf. I really do. And the wolf is the protector. The wolf is also the family. Very family orientated. It protects its youngins. Whenever he mates with a female wolf, they're mates forever. You know, they take care of their elders too. And if you cross them and you piss them off, watch out, because they will bite the shit out of you. Yes. And they always travel in the pack. So when I saw the wolf in the cards, it's like everybody, you need to find a pack. You need to find people who you relate to, because you can't just go out there in this world alone. You can't and do it yourself. You need a pack. You need people to help you. And it's okay for people. It's okay to ask for help. I mean, there's no bad thing about it. I have no problem asking for help because there's times I need help. Just find a pack so everybody can be protected. And that, to me, is what I see in the wolf card tonight. Children, if you can, please go to your parents, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And if you have no parents and if you have no children, find someone, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. Because those 3 words, I love you, go a long way. And always remember, please protect the children. And on that note, good night, everybody. I will see you next Sunday with a guest, and we're going to talk witches and what they're all about. On that note, good night, and see you next Sunday.